So we're a little over 30 games into the Spurs season. Where have they improved?
You are Locked On Spurs, your daily San Antonio Spurs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, happy Tuesday. Welcome back to Locked On Spurs, right in the Locked On NBA Network. I'm your host, Jeff Garcia, Spurs writer for Kens 5 San Antonio. Glad to have y'all back. And thank y'all for making the Locked On Sports Podcast Network #1 in this nation. We appreciate it. As always, subscribe to Locked On Spurs wherever you get your favorite podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, Kens 5 Plus app, YouTube. You know what to do, and that is subscribe ASAP. What are we talking about today? So we're about a little over 30 games in as of this recording. And where the improvements been? You know, they obviously have a phenomenal record, right? There's no doubt about that. The Spurs, A+, way to go, guys. But where have we seen those improvements along the way? Remember the halftime stuff? Remember all that? You know, wait till halftime. We'll see how they play. Well, has that gotten better? What about turnovers? What about things such as just scoring? We're going to be talking about that and more. And then, including, if we have time, some Locked On Spurs fan comments. Going to bring in our guest. Join us with audio today. He is Mr. Rudy Campos of Box Score Studio. Rudy, you keeping warm out there?
I'm trying to, man. It's freezing today in San Antonio.
You know, I spent a good chunk of my life in the Northeast New York City area, and this is nothing for me, man. This is t-shirt and short sweater weather.
Well, I lived in Ohio for 2 years.
Oh, that's right, you did, yeah.
Yeah, my very first night in Ohio, we drove in. It was -2. So being it's your first day, first night driving into Ohio, having -2 was. It doesn't feel like -2, but it says -2. It's a weird, different type of cold.
Yeah, I used to live in Michigan for a while, for a little over 4 years, and let me tell you, that was worse than New York City. That was way worse.
Well, it's the lake effect, is what it is. It's like they say that lake effect really makes a difference, and it's different cold.
Now we're done with the Weather Channel report here on Locked On Spurs. Yes, it's cold in San Antonio, but one thing's not cold are the San Antonio Spurs. Rudy Campos, phenomenal record, well above 500, beating teams they should beat, teams under 500, and giving top crust teams in the NBA a run for their money. Thunder, we all know what they did to the OKC, Denver, Orlando, the list goes on and on. But where have they improved? Where are the improvements? Why are they playing so well? Rudy, you're the guest. You get first crack at this. What have you seen as far as improvements from the Silver and Black?
There's a lot of improvements you've seen from this team overall. The biggest one for me is the defensive intensity that everybody's playing with. You've got probably the best trio of guards in Harper, Fox, and Castle, all playing really phenomenal defense. You started to see a guy like Devin Vassell kind of buy into more of the defensive side of the ball, as well as his offensive side has improved a whole bunch. And, of course, you got Victor Wembanyama as well. But add the addition of Luke Cornett under the rim, too, to spell Victor, when he's out of the game, it just continues the defensive intensity. That's the biggest thing that I noticed. The other part that I noticed is kind of reminds us back of some of these past Spurs teams where the ball movement has been phenomenal. Mm-hmm. They are taking a lot more open jump shots. You're starting to see Devin Vassell hit three-pointers at, let's just say a record-setting pace for him because he's able to get open looks, and that's just not him. A lot of the guys that are shooting the three ball well this year, Harrison Barnes, Champagnie, they are getting open looks.
Right.
A lot of it is obviously it's because of Victor as well, but a lot of it has to do with the ball movement. Those are the two biggest things that I see for the Spurs that they've improved on.
Yeah, exactly. I want to go back to the defense side that you mentioned right now. You're looking at the month of December. As of this recording, they're holding teams to about 113 points now. In the NBA, in today's era, that's like holding teams under 100. So exactly. That's pretty good. And you look at what they did in November, they were holding teams to about 117, while they're scoring about 122 so far this month of December. And they are definitely improving on the offensive end. And more on that later. But yeah, you look at the differential here. You look at the month of October, they were holding teams, Rudy, to 103 points per game. Again, that's phenomenal right now. I look at this first team defensively, and let's not forget, Rudy, what do they say to start the season? That playing defense was non-negotiable. Have they lived up to that?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, absolutely. Fans may think, well, 103 points, 113 points a game, that's still a
Yeah.
lot. That's actually not a lot in today's NBA game. I mean, that's
Right.
like you mentioned, that's probably holding them down to like 98, 97 back in the day,
Mhm.
when they were actually doing that in the NBA. But yeah, I mean, non-negotiable at the beginning of the season. You're starting to see everybody buy in, and let's give credit where credit's due. I continue to give credit to the coaching staff, and I'm still going to do it. It's Mitch Johnson building
Mhm.
a remarkable staff. Sean Sweeney, best known for defensive prowess,
Right.
especially with Dallas. I mean, bringing in a defensive guru like Sean Sweeney, and also the toughness that you brought in Corliss Williamson. I mean, these guys are mentally and physically preparing the players for a grueling 82 game season. You started to see it. They've all bought into the defensive side. It's starting to
Mhm.
show. And the record is proof right there.
Yeah, exactly. You like what Sean Sweeney is doing defensively. He's pretty much using the team's length, just pressure and just funneling everything to Victor. That's all they're really doing. And that's all you got to do if you really think about it. Just when Victor's on that court, just send everybody his way. Obviously, perimeter defenders, you try your best to, alleviate the pressure defensively on Victor. But if they gamble, then go for it, as long as they're going towards the paint, or at least or in Victor's area. And you look at that, they're long, they're physical. Wemby, what more can you say? He's disruptive, but we're hearing a kind of word that's been popped up a couple times this season that we haven't heard in a few years, Rudy, and that is the Spurs are punking teams. They're playing more physical. You heard Ime Udoka say, "Oh, the Spurs punked us." You're hearing that word, and I'm glad that's one of the things I've gotten better at, is because to start the season, even the preseason, Mitch Johnson kept on harping like, "Oh, they didn't play with physicality. They didn't play physicality." They're playing with a lot more physicality on both ends of the court. Rudy, your thoughts?
Yeah, they really are. They're
Mm-hmm.
playing a lot more physical, and in punking of the teams, it's more of, it's a good thing that, other teams are starting to realize it. It's actually made a big difference against teams like
Mm-hmm.
OKC. The best team, well, probably the best team in the league right now is OKC, and they've been
Mm-hmm.
able to be physical with them. And it's a good thing because like you said, it's kind of following everything towards Victor. Um, what I like about it more than anything, Jeff, is the fact that they're not afraid to gamble. They're not afraid to make mistakes. And a lot of it is on the coaching. You've seen a lot more steals. I think Fox is averaging almost 2.5 steals a game.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen another couple of guys averaging over 1.5 steals a game. And it's the physicality. It's them not backing down. And that's something that we haven't seen in past Spurs teams, is that these guys are getting physical. They're not backing down. They're playing, up to what, San Antonio has known for many years as Spurs basketball when it comes to defensive intensity. And it's starting to show around the league. Not only that, I mean, you're starting to see teams like the New York Knicks, for one,
Yep.
who did beat the Spurs. They're playing physical basketball. And the refs are allowing it to happen because it's not, how do you say it? It's not physical.
Yeah.
It's just pure basketball moves. And you're allowed to be a little physical. They're taking advantage of it. And that's something that they've got to do for continuing the rest of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. And overall, you just like, what Sean Sweeney has done. That was, as you highlighted, a very brilliant move, and the numbers are proving it. Really, the Spurs are as of this recording, the fifth best defensive rated team in the NBA at 112.5. They just trail the Heat at 112.0, and the Warriors, yeah, they're not that far ahead at 111.5. So the Spurs definitely are one of the top. Obviously, they are one of the top 5 defenses. And as they say, defense wins games. Well, the record proves that. All right. So what do I like? What about the improvements that I've been seeing for the Spurs throughout the course of this season? Let's talk about that coming up next, right here on Locked On Spurs with Box Score Studios' very own Rudy Campos. Hey, I want to talk about game time during basketball season. There's nothing like being in the building, the energy, the crowd, the first big run that gets everybody on their feet. Fans want to be there for those moments, so not getting stuck on refreshing screens or guessing what tickets are going to really cost. That's where Game Time comes in. The Game Time app gives fans the advantage back, making it incredibly easy to score amazing tickets, fast, simple, and without the guesswork. Browsing the Game Time app is straightforward and intuitive. Finding tickets takes just a few taps. You can see the view from your seat before buying the tickets, and choosing tickets becomes easy and confident. Prices include fees up front, so the total is clear from the start. They got zone deals to help you unlock great seats at even better value. Yeah, you just want to go to Game Time right now. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNBA. That's LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Download the Game Time app today and get in on the action. Hey, thanks for making Locked On Spurs your first listen of the day. Thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. If you haven't already checked it out, go check out the new Everydayer Club. You get access to an ad-free radio feed for Locked On Spurs, compatible with Apple Podcasts, Spotify, pretty much other major podcast apps. You get an invite to a members-only Locked On Everydayer Club Discord server, which includes a group chat. For listeners of the show, you gotta go there. It's just like hanging out and getting into all the hype over at the Discord group. Go to lockedonspurs.supercast.com right now to go sign up to be part of the Everydayer Club, or just tap the link in the show notes to learn more. We're talking about the Spurs improvements as the season progresses. Welcome back to Locked On Spurs here on Locked On Podcast and Network. I am joined by Mr. Rudy Campos to see, well, you kind of see him on your screen. You see the logo there, Box Score Studio, more on that later. And yeah, we're talking about Spurs improvements. So since preseason till now, where have they improved? Now, Rudy highlighted defensiveness, the intensity, the physicality, just exactly what the Spurs are doing on that end of the court. Even highlighted and tipped his cap to Sean Sweeney. That is awesome. But let's look at the other areas where the Spurs have been improving. And I want to start off on the offensive end. Rudy, you're looking at this month, just this month alone, the Spurs are averaging 112.1 points per game. And as highlighted, they are allowing only 113.8. That's a massive, massive point differential right there. And you even go back into the month of October, they were averaging about 118.2 and holding teams to 103 points per game. So all in all, their offense is humming, and rightfully so, and it's getting better and better. We're seeing multiple games with multiple scores. And one of the biggest things that I've been liking from the offensive end is any game, it could be somebody. It doesn't have to be Victor leading the score. We have Keldon Johnson, who led the way versus the Thunder. We've seen De'Aaron Fox lead the way. We've seen Victor, obviously. We've seen Devin Vassell. We've seen Harrison Barnes at times. This team is improving offensively, and man, if they're having a day off defensively, man, Rudy, do you think this team can maybe beat teams just offensively as well?
Seems to think so. I mean, you've got a perennial, more than likely going to be a top 3 candidate for 6 Man of the Year, Keldon Johnson. So your bench is already solidified with Keldon, Julian coming off the bench as well, Cornette. So I think outscoring teams, it's very, very possible. And I will throw this factor in there. The only way I trust them to outscore a team in case their defense is laxing is if they're fully healthy and they are at full strength. Now, for granted, the last game, was against the Utah Jazz that they lost, the first game after an 8-game winning streak. And again, you didn't have De'Aaron Fox. So they were not at full strength again. You kind of saw a little bit of mishaps. But when a team shoots, darn near 50% from 3-point range, and, they were just not missing. When a team doesn't miss, it shows you're probably going to beat the other team pretty handily. And that's the same for the Spurs. When they've been on that win streak, Jeff, they were shooting the ball lights out from me on the arc. They were making a ton of shots. They were outscoring teams. That shows they can do it on both sides of the court. So yeah, if they're having defensive struggles, comes down to it, do I feel they can outscore a team? I really do. It just needs to be a full roster. It's going to be full strength.
Yeah, right now the Spurs have the 5th best offensive rating in the NBA at 118.8, just behind the Celtics at 120.8 and the Knicks at 121.1. Leading the pack is the Denver Nuggets with the 124.0 offensive rating. But nevertheless, yeah, offensively, they're getting better and better as the months improve on. Here's one thing that I think has been flying under the radar too, Rudy. I want to get your thoughts on this. Is they're playing cleaner basketball. Despite the physicality, they're usually averaging fewer fouls than the opponents during games. So, for example, go back to November. they averaged about 20 fouls per game, while the opponents were about 21. Now, you fast forward to this month, they're only averaging about 18 fouls per game and causing 21 fouls per opponent per game. So that tells me their basketball IQ is getting better. They're making the right play. They're staying out of foul trouble. They're communicating perhaps better on the court, to put guys in position, maybe to pick up offensive fouls, maybe to cause opponents to commit a silly foul, stuff like that. I think that has been one of the things that I've liked, just cleaner basketball. The other thing too, Rudy, is that if you look beyond the X's and O's, one thing that has really improved is their confidence. This team, minus the Jazz game, this team looks like they can step on the court and they feel they can beat anyone. I really believe that. Your thoughts, Rudy?
Their confidence level should be at an all-time high. I mean, they've gone toe-to-toe with the best in the league already, have come out victorious numerous times. That just ultimately just builds more and more confidence. I mean, the guys are shooting the ball with confidence. They're getting to the rim. They're finishing buckets. They're there for one another. It's a lot that takes, you take notice of a lot of stuff, and the confidence in it, it's hands down probably the most glaring thing that you can see from this Spurs basketball team. A team that went, from 22 wins after drafting Victor to say, similar, a little bit of an improvement the following year. Mm-hmm. Now into year 3, having everything built around him, having all the players in place, new coaching staff. To be honest, Jeff, I mean, you bring in a new coaching staff, you bring in a few extra players. You normally, I would say 99% of the time, see a team kind of struggle a little bit. Mm-hmm. It's kind of surprising that we're seeing them not struggle and everybody is in has a cohesive group. So, yeah, I mean, confidence, it must have started from day one training camp, and it's just continuing to go on. And again, with every victory over top teams in the league, it's just preparing them for a playoff run. It's preparing them for a long playoff run.
Yeah, ESPN Power Index projections have the Spurs making it at minimal to the conference semifinals. So, which is pretty good considering a team that just won a little over 20 games last season to go beyond the first round, go on to the second round. Hopefully they go beyond that and go to the conference finals. But I mean, that would pretty a nice deep run. Hey, one other thing that I want to highlight before we move on here is offensive rebounding. That's gotten better and better as the games go by. Last month, they were averaging about 11.3 offensive rebounds per game. This month, Rudy, they're averaging about 13 offensive rebounds. That's huge. Second chance opportunities, keeping the ball on their end of the court, getting another chance at scoring and whatnot. Again, commitment to the physicality. You got to get physical to get those rebounds. You got to get in there into the trees to fight for offensive rebounds. And they're doing it easily this month. Again, 13 offensive rebounds, really, that's just phenomenal.
Well, it's we can't give the credit all to Cornet and to Victor, but you've seen players, especially Julian Champagnie, just crashing against the board. I mean, he's bringing it every single night, especially on the rebounding side of things. So it's just good to see all the guards buying in. You're starting to see guys, Stephon Castle crashing the boards, Dylan Harper always around the bucket. But I give credit to Julian Champagnie. He's crashing the boards like nobody's business. And that's, again, it's everybody buying into the system that Mitch is building there. It's everybody buying into the team concept, and it's the confidence level going up. But yeah, not a surprise to me at all that the offensive rebounds have ticked up a little bit.
A little bit, yeah, that's a big jump. You're looking at last month, they averaged about 11.3, and then the month of October to start the season, 11.6. And here's the thing, they're usually winning that battle. To start the season, they're only allowing 8.4 offensive rebounds per opponent. You fast forward to this month, only 9.6, again, to their 13. So that's really, really good. Yeah, I mean, there's so many improvements. We can go on and on here regarding this great Spurs team. This is one of the best Spurs team we've seen in quite a while. But what do y'all think? What do y'all think the Spurs have improved upon? This is something we didn't touch on off the court. Maybe another stat that you liked. Let Rudy know on X at Box Score Studio. Let me know on X at Jeff G Spurs Zone. When we get back, let's talk about some Locked On Spurs fan comments. Hey, it's all about FanDuel. Fans are already, Fridays, I should say, feel already different with basketball season. And FanDuel is making them even better. Every Friday night before the game tips off, FanDuel gives fans a new way to kick off the weekend with NBA Happy Hour. NBA Happy Hour is your official pregame, a limited time window where special offers drop right inside the FanDuel app before the action starts. Fridays from 6 to 7:30 Eastern have become appointment viewing with NBA Happy Hour. The timing is perfect. It's right before games, right before the weekend start. It adds extra energy to Friday night basketball without overthinking it. It's easy to check the weekly specials before tip-off to make a move before the window closes. So before tip-off, check out the FanDuel app and see what's dropping during NBA Happy Hour every Friday from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Eastern. A little basketball, a little action, and a whole lot of Friday energy. That's NBA Happy Hour only on FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NBA. So we are back right here on Locked On Spurs, joined by Box Score Studios' very own Mr. Rudy Campos. More on that later, including the world premiere of a documentary that hits close to home. Y'all definitely like to hear what Rudy has to say about that. Hey, Rudy, let's dive into some Locked On Spurs fan comments. Let's just say the other were just pretty much ticked off after that loss to the Jazz. But hey, can't win them all. So why don't we do this? Let's pick a fun one and then kind of a more today on point about the season. So, do you want to start off with a fun one or more of what's going on in the season?
Let's do fun. Fun one.
Want to do fun? All right, let's do fun. All right. The first one is reacting to our fun one that we had regarding Robinson, Duncan, and Wemby start bench cut. All right, here we go. This one is from at 314 rates. This fan says, it wasn't until after the 80s and 90s centers were gone Tim finally played his true position at center. Here we go. Yes, Tim is a soft center who pretended to be a power forward. People tend to forget the big fundamental choke at free throw lines more than you want to admit. Blah, 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 blah. Ultimately, he left an amazing thesis here. But nevertheless, what do you think about that? Do you think Tim Duncan played in a soft era? I completely disagree when it comes to the big men during TD's era.
Yeah, I don't know what era he was really referring to because that was not a soft era in
Not at all.
basketball. I mean, you still had the OGs playing, Ewing, obviously, Olajuwon. I mean, in his practices alone, he's having to go up against David Robinson and Will Perdue in his rookie season, his first few seasons of the league. So there is not a soft era that Tim Duncan played in. Maybe towards the end of his career, the center position, the big man position got a little softer. There was less, position, down low basketball. But I mean, for majority of Timmy's career, battling, the likes of Shaquille O'Neal, even, the likes of Dikembe Mutombo, a lot of these guys, that is not a soft era of basketball. I'm not quite understanding where he's coming from on that.
Yeah, you can forget too. Tim Duncan played against Rasheed Wallace, Kevin Garnett. The list goes. I think who was up and coming? Who was a big man that was up and coming during TD's years? Man, I feel like I'm forgetting one.
Little guys like DeMarcus Cousins when he was young. He was in a problem. When he was with the Kings. I mean, there's a lot of guys that Timmy had to play are not soft by any means at all. So I don't quite understand that comment there.
Yeah, there was Kenyon Martin. He was physical forward, and TD had to go against him in the finals a few times. Dwight Howard. Yeah. So yes, the era of the 80s, especially the 80s, the 70s were rough and tumble, man. Go look at some videos. Seriously, somebody could get punched in the face, dropped, and it's just a personal foul. I'm not kidding, everybody. Not kidding. Yeah. It was just a personal foul. Game off.
Or wouldn't be called. I mean, they missed the call.
Yeah. Or they would just separate. Come on, break it up, guys. All right, keep on playing. And no calls, no fouls will be called. But no. I disagree. No, Tim Duncan did not play in a soft era. All right, let's move on to a little bit more of a now, today, this season comment here. This is from Andrew Polander. He says, the process is win the title this year, Rudy Campos. Ooh. Yes. He goes on to say, Olynyk and Jeremy and draft capital to get another rotation player. Spurs can do it every year with Wemby. It's precious. Can't waste any time. Go for it. But think about that, Rudy. Going for the title now.
You know, that's a good one. I commend the comment, but if you're not trying to win a title every year, then what are you doing in the league?
Yeah.
I mean, your ultimate goal is to win the NBA title, but sadly, only one team can win a title. They don't give away second place trophies. There's no participation trophies. Only one team can hoist that Larry O'Brien trophy. Can it be the Spurs? Well, Box Score Power Index says that right now the Spurs are at minimum a conference finals team after we're looking at everything. So we're talking about, one step before the NBA finals. I think right now that trade that he's looking at to add a good rotational player, I think we may see that happen with Jeremy, maybe a pick or so. I don't think they move Olynyk only because if you're trying to use Olynyk as the guy to back up Cornette and Wemby, he's got your finals appearances. He's got your playoff experience. He's a veteran you need. I wouldn't necessarily move off of Olynyk right now. But as they sit right now, I think they probably don't need much of a rotational player. If there's a team that desperately needs a rotational player, it's going to be Oklahoma City, as we can see them when it comes to the San Antonio Spurs matchup. But right now, I mean, I would say minimum, I have them as a conference final participant. But I get it. You don't want to waste Wemby's time, but I mean, it's a while before David Robinson even won a title. It's not like Wemby may not end up like Karl Malone or Patrick Ewing titleless. I mean, I think the Spurs do have a title contending team. Whether it be this season, it's still up in the air, man.
There is a very good argument why you want to win now, and it's all about the money. Rudy, right now, the Spurs have a lot of players on a quote-unquote cheap NBA contract. A lot of them are still on rookie contracts, maybe just a couple years away from getting that full, bucks that they're looking for. So if the Spurs want to avoid that potential disaster financially, there is a reason why you want to win now, maybe as soon as next year. Maybe you could push it off one more year. But the good thing about it, the Spurs seem tooled to go ahead and do that and make it happen. I would not be surprised this season to make a conference finals appearance. Not at all. Not the way they're playing right now on both ends of the court. But financially, there is a reason why you want to maybe speed up the process to a title because of just the financial situation that all NBA teams face every day, every season. I know the biggest example is Boston. Boston, their ownership literally bailed because they said, no, this ain't going to work. This apron and first apron and second apron, bleep, all that stuff that owners and, their staff have to deal with. So really, what about the financial side? It seems to me that could be the ultimate deciding factor if the Spurs really go all in on the title, maybe this season or definitely next season.
Well, if financial factors are what's considered are in people's mind, I understand that, but would that be a factor if you throw in the fact that they've already gotten approval for Project Marvel? That's going to bring a whole lot more into San Antonio, especially the Spurs organization. So I think if you didn't see a Project Marvel passing and you didn't see anything like that go on for San Antonio, then I would say, financial reasons make a whole lot of difference to win now because you got to start generating that revenue. But because Project Marvel's already been passed, they're going to get that new arena downtown. I don't see financial problems for San Antonio, especially for the Spurs. So the win now part being finance, I would say no. And only that, rookie contracts. I mean, Victor's going to probably get a max deal, but you got to remember there's a lot of factors. He's got to win, all NBA. He's got to do win an NBA, defensive player of the year. He's got to hit certain categories to get what they consider a super max. So has he hit those yet? I mean, he's close. All of them. So I mean, there's certain factors. So his next rookie deal, his next deal may not be an actual super max type of deal. So there's savings of money there. You're not going to have to sign Dylan Harper for a few more years. Stephon Castle still got another 2 or 3 years left on his deal. Project Marvel should be done roughly around that time. So financial factors, Jeff, I don't see that at all.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's just really interesting. But man, all that aside, conference run this season would not is not out of the realm of possibility. It's not.
There's no team in the West.
Not. Yeah.
There's no team in the West, and I'll say it right now. There's no team in the West that matches up with San Antonio outside of maybe Denver. And I'm not even putting OKC there because OKC does not match up well with San Antonio when San Antonio is healthy. Yeah. Denver does right now because of the veterans that they have. Mm-hmm. But right now, I mean, you're looking at the Spurs as being maybe max a top 2 team in the West.
Whew, that would be awesome. But I mean, it's funny because you look at the projections right now. Many have the Spurs still staying at 4. There's some that have them dropping to 5, which I don't get.
It's scary. It's the injury problem. Whether or not it's not knowing that Victor's going to play a full season, and that's a legitimate concern and prediction right there.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they have some projections have the Warriors just spiking late in season. I'm like, okay, I guess, there seem to be kind of a mess right now, but well, we shall see. But fun times this season. Hey, everybody, thank y'all for leaving those comments here on Locked On Spurs. We appreciate it. We'll hopefully read some more in the days ahead. Rudy, what is Box Score Studio? And I hear there's a new documentary out. Is there?
Well, Box Score Studio is formerly Sweep the League, where we've grown up. As we said, you can go to Box Score Studio TV on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. Appreciate it. We hit over 2,000 subscribers, which is a monumental and a milestone for us our Box Score Studio. And a lot of it has to do with the documentary that was released on UTSA Hall of Famer and soon to be ABA Hall of Famer Derek Irvin, who's a person who's basically with us here at Box Score Studio TV. Did a nice 4-part documentary. You can get it on YouTube. It's free right now. It's Box Score Studio TV. Check it out. Great. Talks about his time with his brother, time overseas, and the path that got him away from the NBA. But again, what we tell people is that the path that sometimes you feel is the right path is not always the right path. You sometimes have to go down a different path to make a name and a career for yourself, and that's what he did. So it's a great documentary.
There you go. Well, congratulations about that and more. Box Score Studio, Rudy. Again, everybody, make sure to follow him on X at Box Score Studio. There you can get all the updates and documentary links, all the good stuff. Go check it out. I haven't had time to check it out yet, but I'm looking forward to seeing all about Derek and learning about him and his past and his future. And I had no idea he was ABA Hall of Fame bound. Wow, that's pretty good.
It'll be next year. Or this coming year.
Oh, this coming year. All right, well, even better. Yes. What is wait? How many Hall of Fames he has? He has 2 now? UTSA and ABA?
So the UTSA he got in last year, and then the ABA, I think, is March or April of 2026. And little known fact, I mean, you'll hear it on the documentary, but Derek Irvin has just as many scoring titles in basketball as his brother George does. So you'll find out how many and where he was able to accomplish that. So you got to check out the documentary.
Yeah, he accomplished that by playing against Rudy Campos. That's how he got those scoring titles. Easy way to get some score titles.
Go ahead. I'll do this, Jeff. I'll give a listener, for anyone that comments on this here. How many points did Derek average in Israel? He tells you on the documentary. It's unbelievable how many points he averaged in the Israeli basketball league. So they do that. We'll give away something for those that comment on there. We'll give away a fan.
Did you hear that, everybody? A little giveaway there from Rudy Campos over at Box Score Studio. Go check it out right now. Rudy, thank you for taking time out of your schedule to join us here on Locked On Spurs. As always, we definitely appreciate it. Everybody else, thank y'all for making Locked On Spurs your first listen each and every day for an available podcast, iTunes, Spotify, KensFly Plus app. You know what to do. Go sign up ASAP. Hey, become part of the NBA Everydayer Club. You just Google search Locked On Podcast Network. You can't miss this. The link there says Everydayer Club. Click on that. You can find Locked On Spurs or just any other team throughout the network. Go sign up to be part of the NBA Everydayer Club. Do that right now. We'll be back tomorrow as the Spurs season continues. Hopefully a lot more wins ahead. Looks like there will be. We'll be talking about that and more. So for Rudy Campos, I am Jeff Garcia. We're going to put a lock in this episode of Locked On Spurs.